So the question that we have is, I feel the best way to encourage openness on my team is to model it myself. I'm doing my best to practice transparency with my teammates, going out of my way to share things like meeting notes, agendas, records from calls, etc. But in this case, no one seems to be following my lead and doing the same things. So our question for the ambassadors is, how can I help my open practices and my preferences catch on?
So I think, openness is a, part of the group culture just as much as anything else. And it takes time for culture to build. So that's the number one thing is you have to be patient. You have to keep working at it. If it's a situation where you have like a reporting relationship with other people, you get what you measure, right? And so, make, if you have, some performance reviews or something, like if you're in a company, make it part of the review to, how much openness, did you participate in, how were you sharing your meeting minutes, your agendas and things like that. But it's also important to think about why, because openness on its own isn't a useful virtue, right? Like, we practice open organization practices because they do a thing for our organization. They increase, transparency. They help us work together better. They give us better ideas. They're more efficient. And so if you're just doing open because you want to check the open box, don't expect people to come along. You really have to show them the value. And, that may mean sort of sitting there and like, hey, why are you not doing this? What, or do you not see value from it? Is it just too much email that you're being overwhelmed with?
Took the words right out of my mouth. Can't really say it better myself, so I'll just reiterate. The phrase that stands out to me is the end of this question: how can I help my open practices and preferences catch on? And unfortunately, we can't always expect our preferences and practices to become other people's preferences and practices, right? And so, to echo Ben's comment, other people's preferences and practices are going to become synonymous with yours when they see the same value as you get from those preferences and practices, right? So just again, to reiterate, Ben, like, it's not, what you want to catch on is not necessarily your behaviors, but the benefits of your behaviors, right? The benefits or the value. What's the value of sharing these notes? What's the value of being transparent? Are people realizing increased accountability on their teams? Are they feeling like they're more informed about what's going on? Do they understand the rationale behind decisions in ways that they didn't before? Those are sort of like the cash value of transparency, I guess I would say, right? So that's what you want to catch on. You want that feeling of accountability to catch on. You want that feeling of information to catch on. And their preferences and practices might not be yours, but they might develop their own to achieve those same ends. And that's what you're trying to achieve, in my mind.